Hi everyone. Let's just make sure everyone can hear me fine. There's so many comments already, and there's over 100 of you waiting. That's really awesome. This is a very important topic tonight, and please excuse me, but my throat is not doing too well. So I'm going to try and get through this as best as I can. And this topic I'm addressing tonight is probably more important than the last two live streams, which have really done well because more than two-thirds of the subscribers on this channel actually watch those. And that's really heartwarming to see how many people are willing to share those videos. And I will continue like that because getting over 20,000 views is better than getting little snippets here and there. So I really want to thank you for coming onto the stream. And I'm going to be discussing things with you, some things that I haven't mentioned in public before, and this is a public forum. So this is not just for channel members, this is for everybody. It's not just for subscribers. Everyone can see this video, so please share the link to this video so that we can get as many people on here as possible. Because there is so much information out there in the world right now. And when I see absolute madness being spread on social media platforms, I just knew that I had to make this video to clear certain things up for you and give you my perspective, as I say, giving my perspective on history as well as the future. And you can take with it that perspective and do with it what you want. And I really don't care if you don't like it. I don't care at all. What I care about is getting a critical mass of people that get it. And once you have a critical mass of people that get it, then you are safer. Because if you have a bunch of idiots around you, they will kill you first. And this will always be the case. And throughout history, and especially in time of war, this has been proven so. And there's these stories running around in the SANDF that back in the day, if you had a lieutenant that was a real idiot, but he got ranked because of his family, then often the best thing to do is to take him out first when you're in a skirmish, because he will give instructions that will end up killing all of you. Now, I'm not saying that you should follow anything like that, but I want you to understand that often people that seem to be meaning well will lead you to your grave. And I want you to understand how they will do that. So there's one particular video that's been doing the round, and many other posts and quotes that's been doing the rounds, talking about a plan. And when I saw this video and I actually watched it, I watch very seldom anything. And I just had a feeling that I had to look at this. And when I watched this video, it made me think back on a plan that my father derived years ago. And I want to discuss with you why that plan was doomed to failure from the very beginning, and explain to you how my father said that it was doomed and why, so that you can understand. Because he wanted to implement this plan. It was an absolutely stupid plan, and he didn't think initially that it was stupid. My father was not an idiot. He had an incredible mind. However, the human factor always will get you down if you don't know how to meticulously look at the big picture and see, are you capable of actually implementing what you are trying? And if you're not capable of implementing that, don't even entertain it at all. Stop entertaining madness. So let's cut to this specific video where this idiot starts to speak about people just arresting the people they don't like in their town, the people doing whatever they think is not okay. Arrest them. And if you don't have a law that says that you're allowed to do a public arrest, and I've done a couple of public arrests in my lifetime, then you should just have the authority and the right to do that. Now, I'm not arguing whether that is true or not. That to me is completely irrelevant. The question is, who do you single out as the person doing the wrong thing? And are you next? Where does it end? Where are the boundaries? You see, it doesn't give you any of this. So the entire message that's rolled out in that plan, and this is before we get to the meticulous plan that my father had, is all to cause destabilization. And anyone with half a brain cell will see through that instantly and dismiss it as utter tripe, because that's what it is. So if you think about the message the person sent out, he's hiding behind a camera. I go out in public and see people face to face, can donor me if they want to. Okay, it's not a difficult thing. Oh, can walk up to me and give me a clap if he's not happy with what I'm saying. This guy's hiding behind a camera. I ask myself, why is he not standing at the front doing these arrests of the people that's doing whatever to your society that you're not happy with? Why is he not leading that fight? Why is he inciting someone else to do the dirty work for him? This is typical Bavarian Illuminati strategy. And when you understand the plan, you will see straight through it. And this guy who thinks he's doing everyone a massive service becomes your biggest enemy and the person that'll lead you to your grave. And what do? They just sit back, look at the situation, and then they say, oh, but you should have done it like this. Oh, but you should have done it like that. Because he didn't lay down any rules. He didn't give any procedure. How do you decide who is the good guy, who is the bad guy? Who do you arrest and interrogate and then get a new council in place or a new sheriff in place once you've arrested all the police? Who's going to do that? Him. If he's making the suggestion, he should lead by example. If he's not willing to lead by example, dismiss what he says. Now, I want to relate to you a story of something my father did. And he did lead by an example, a bad example. And he admitted to that. When he started the Oranje Ontwikkelingskorps, he had a council of 6 men. And on the thumbnail for this video, you would have seen a cock standing on its own dung heap crowing. And in many of my 00 Days meetings, I've spoken of this cock. And my father spoke about this cock a lot, especially after what happened. Because every single man in this council, bar one, turned on him. Every single one. Most of them turned on all the beliefs they claimed to profess, to live by at that stage, completely. Now, I'm not going to talk about their ideology or their beliefs. This is irrelevant. But I'm going to talk to you about the plan and why my father believed 100% that not a single South African can be used in this plan because they will stab you in the back. And he spoke very passionately about how Sina van Rensburg was stabbed in the back then when he was captured, and later when crap was written about him in a book by Adrian Snyman. Backstabbing. Now, at the time, my father knew exactly who was creating this New World Order. He had served on the committee that implemented this plan, that is putting it in place, that's rolling out everything that'll change humanity to the point where we will just relinquish all our freedoms. And he came up with all sorts of ideas of how he can thwart that. Now, this was back in the 80s. It was still in apartheid years, so it's a very different dynamic. But it's a plan that you need to learn from. He realized very quickly that every single person that he gave a bit of authority within the organization, they interpreted it as power, not as authority to do something in the stead of someone else. No, they interpreted it as power. I started a Telegram group recently to give you a very good demonstration of what giving someone a responsibility or giving someone authority, how that can turn into power. And it's very easy to dissect. If you actually look at a member of any organization, and it doesn't matter what organization that is, if the members of that organization think that they are better than anyone else around them, they are giving themselves authority beyond what they have. They have no authority, and yet they will try and exercise it. And this is really, really sad, because the moment you start exercising authority that you don't have, you are demented. And why do we do demented things? And I include myself and everyone else out there. Why do we have dementia? Okay, it's because we were taught to be that way in school. It comes from our school days. Now, let me come back to the plan. He needed, in his mind, to remove the problem, arrest the problem, force confessions out of them, and release all that information in the mainstream media around the world. So he didn't just have a plan for South Africa. He had enough funds and he had the means to go and literally arrest the entire committee of 300 and council of 13 families. This was his plan. It was called the Sword of God, die Swaard van God, die SVG. And he did not trust South Africans with this plan at all, especially not Afrikaans-speaking people. He believed that only German people could execute this plan to a T. But he made one big mistake, and that is that he trusted that South African people would at least stand by him when the chips are down. He made a huge mistake, because if you do not empower South Africans as individuals and you empower them under an organization, you will not make it, because our diversity is so great. Our differences is so great. We are so haragat that we will not stand together as a group. We will not do it. So the plan had to be totally different and very different to the plan that my father had come up with. And I'm not going to speak about that plan today. I'm going to speak to you about the plan that is failed, the plan that is doomed to fail from the very beginning. And that is any plan that depends on a couple of individuals to do something for the rest. That plan can never work. Why not? In South Africa, because of our cultural heritage, because of our background, because of where we come from, people will always let their ego, temperament, and everything else get in the way. Always. Without fail. Without fail. So any plan that involves a group or militia or anything like that is doomed to failure. Why? Because the global elite has built a network of people around the world that believe in the Bavarian Illuminati ideology. And they are individuals that believe this. They are not in organizations. They are individuals. And I've said before, it's your primary school teacher, it's your teacher at creche, it's your high school teacher, it's your professor at varsity that believe this doctrine of the greater good, that believe that we as individuals will only live a higher life if we relinquish all our freedom. And I cannot stand for that. So any plan that does not supersede what our global elite has already done to us will fail. It is doomed to failure from the very beginning. Now, how many plans do you know of that depends on a savior figure or a group of people that say, we will save you, you can depend on us, we're going to do this for you? You are doomed to failure if you follow such a plan, and you will not make it at all. Out of the 6 people in this council, in the Oranje Ontwikkelingskorps, where they believed they were going to create an area of South Africa separate to this new world order that's going to take our freedom away. Why did it fail? Why did it end up in my father's death? Why? Because his plan was bad. And you know, a couple of months before he died, he said, Desmond, maybe it wasn't meant for me to do any of this stuff. maybe it's meant for you. And I absolutely ignored him because I thought he was absolutely crazy. Because what did he achieve at the end of the day? Nothing. And I can't show a 0 because then I'm showing some Masonic 666 sign. He achieved nothing. Nothing. Except for the information that he gave other people. There he achieved a lot, but his plan was doomed to failure from the very beginning because initially it included South Africans. Now think about what I'm saying. It included South Africans working together in a structure, in an organization to help other South Africans. It will never, ever work. This is why I say that only you are going to save yourself as an individual, and you can do that in groups. That's not governed by anything. The moment you try and get people to govern that, people will abuse the authority they get or the calling they get or whatever, and they will use it as power over others. And I have not once seen that not happening. So the moment the person exercises their authority, it turns into a power game. Some people will exercise nothing. In other words, they will not use any authority that they are given in any way. They will stand back and watch. I'm not speaking about those. So think about what you can do to make sure that you do not fall into this massive trap. How many organizations have you seen out there? How many messages have you seen out there with a plan that involves a couple of people coming together in some secret place somewhere, on top of a mountain, in some hall somewhere, away from everyone else, where that niche group is now going to become a united front? It will never happen. It will fail every single time. Because history has shown us that it will fail. My father said very meticulously, to implement this plan, the sword of God, he would have to go to Germany and speak to all the overseas agents to implement this plan. That he's too scared, after what had happened to him before, to speak to any South African. And you need to ask yourself why he came to that conclusion. Why he found out the hard way, when he wanted to believe that there are good South Africans, when there are loyal South Africans, that he saw that they will always, because of human nature, want to put themselves forward. Always. And the one thing my dad was good at is standing in the background and just watching other people and seeing what they get up to. Now, when you give someone a specific instruction and they follow that instruction, that person is loyal to you. Now, for those of you that are on the Telegram group, I gave Justin Richardson very specific instructions and he exercised them meticulously. Many of you got upset with him. And Justin, I hope you're in the stream. Thank you very much for just listening to what I have to say and choosing to follow exactly what I said. I really applaud you because you have just proven that people can be found that will actually listen. And I'm one of those people. If I follow somebody, and I'm not saying that Justin is following me, he was willing to help me with something. If I follow someone in a workplace, a boss or whoever, and they give me instructions, I would follow it meticulously. If I had a question, I would ask them. I wouldn't just act out of guilt. And a lot of people would have gotten very upset with the instructions that I gave Justin, that he executed to a T. And said, but Des would never do this. Never speak for me. Never speak for me. I will speak for myself. Do you know how many people spoke for my father, who was the elected president of the Oranje Ontwikkelingskorps? They would speak for him all the time. People speak for Donald Trump all the time. People speak for all sorts of people all the time. You have no right to do that. Don't think that you know that person and their intentions better than they do themselves, because then you're that cock in that thumbnail standing on that dung heap crowing louder than the next person. If we are not willing in this fight, in this war that we're in, to stand alone, each person, look at ourselves and say, I have all these flaws within myself. Let me fix them up first before I speak to someone else or I exercise any authority over anyone else. I have no authority over anyone. Nobody. Not my wife, not my kids. I have a role to play. That's all I have in my family. On this YouTube channel, no one needs to come and watch me. People can leave the channel and never watch any of the videos again. It's their choice. I have no authority over people. I don't want to have authority over anyone because it's wrong. It's wrong. I don't have authority. On platforms that I create or anyone else creates, they have authority in those platforms to exercise it the way they want. Now, the platform that my father created was an organization to try and help people to sustain themselves when all these things start happening to us. He wanted to prepare back then already. He was preparing emergency shelters to put up in the Northern Cape. He had a Zulu prince help him to do that. He said one day, die vlaktes sal gestrooi wees van die tente. There will be thousands of tents strewn across the plains with people that are destitute because of what will happen in future. He knew what will happen. He knew that people will end up there for one simple reason. They will have no alternative. They will have no other option. His heart was broken that these men saw themselves more important than the calamity that was awaiting us. Saw their own egos as more important than the calamity that is awaiting us. And I don't know, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get individuals to prepare themselves for any eventuality. Individuals. Because as I said earlier on my Telegram group, if you think I'm going to save you, you're making a big mistake. Don't follow me. Listen to the information only. I'm not going to save you. I'm going to save my family. Okay. Let me make that patently clear. So stop following me. Stop wanting to depend on me. You should be able to do everything you need to do without me. And that is the first thing my father should have done. He should have made sure that those people can do things on their own and not depend on anyone else, an organization or anything else like that. So why was that plan doomed to failure? He did not know that it was a bad plan until it manifested itself. He had no idea. He had no idea. But one thing I've learned in life is to learn from others' mistakes. And when my father said to me, Desmond, never trust a South African. All I had to do was use the humanity in me to trust blindly. And I've trusted blindly my whole life, and I've suffered for it every single time. Now that we're in a state of war, I have to change the way I do things. I don't have the measure anymore to use that humanity in me that want to blindly trust people, because a lot of people can suffer because of it, especially my own family. And I have to protect my family. I will not take any more phone calls of people that don't know me from this time. I will focus on my family solely. The people that I know personally, I will communicate with how and when I see fit. And I implore you to do the same. Get off those WhatsApp groups. Stop depending on the Telegram groups. Stop making that your life's mission to sit on a freaking phone or a computer the whole day, because I certainly don't. And let that affect your emotions. Look at what's happening around you for real and prepare for that. Please prepare for that. Now, getting information on social media is a privilege. The fact that we can actually get information on social media is really wonderful. It's wonderful that we have this technology, and I want to advise you to use it as much as you can to empower yourself with information and learn. Learn. Earlier, I was listening to a live stream that someone that I interviewed recently was doing, and I've only listened to the first half. And I thought, I'm actually enjoying listening to this now. And I very seldom watch any videos. And I know my father lived very much separated from the rest of the world for a very, very long time for many reasons. And because I come into contact with people often, and my father did not, I believe that I learned very quickly that you cannot trust people. That there's very few people that you can trust to do specific things when you ask them, exactly as you ask them. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's a privilege to know people that will. A privilege. And I'm one of those people. I'm one of the best followers that I know. Because when I believe in something, I will follow it meticulously. And I can say that the plan that I'm following did not come from me. So I am following a plan. And I can do it properly because I study it intently, understand it and comprehend it fully, and then try and implement it myself. And all of you, if you want to follow a plan that's going to save you in future from global destruction, and I'm not saying this lightly, global destruction, I recommend that you as an individual learn to listen, learn, take in, and then decide for yourself how you're going to apply the things you learn in your life. Not discuss it with 10, 20 other people on WhatsApp. Make up your own mind. Trust yourself to be able to make up your own mind. You're going to have to do that. And once you've done that, then you start to team up with people that have done the same. Because if they've not done the same, they will not only lead you down the garden path, they will have hooks in your back to make sure you can't get ahead, because they will leech off of you. And you won't even realize it. They will suck the life out of you. So please, make sure that you as an individual separate yourself from others when you make decisions, and do it yourself. Take the responsibility upon yourself, because you are the only person that is going to save yourself. Once you have done that, find other people that have done the same. And once you've been through this process, you will know who they are. At the moment, I might not even be able to find 20 or 30 people that I can work with in this country. And that is a flippin' disaster. A disaster. We need a lot more. A lot more. That actually understand what I'm talking about. And for me to do that, I don't care if the platforms I use where we have serious discussions are whittled down to 10 or 20, where it currently has over 1,000. It doesn't matter. We need to build something serious fast. And when I mean serious, someone that takes seriously the responsibility before them to protect their own life, your life. Because I'm not going to do it for you. If you have made the effort if you have made the effort to do everything in your power to be able to protect your own life, the difference will be made up for you. I can guarantee you that. The difference will be made up for you. If you are someone with disability or someone with a weakness of any kind, if you're vulnerable, other people will make up the difference for you. If you've done everything in your power as an individual to protect yourself. And believe me, the only thing a Telegram or WhatsApp group or some chat group is good for is sharing information that can help each other to achieve what I've discussed just now. Sharing links of other people, sharing thoughts of other people will not only cause distraction, it'll cause subversion. And this is all my father faced for most of his life. Performing this task is subversion from one moment to the next because he depended on other people to do something for him. Big mistake. At least he could admit that to me in person, face to face. And I really appreciate that I could spend that time with him, that I could learn those lessons from him. When he said, do not trust a single other person that cannot look after themselves first. And there is a secret. The moment you have someone that can look after themselves first, and you can look after yourself too, then those two people can start working together, and you have a very powerful force. A force that cannot be broken, because they had achieved self-reliance and independence by themselves. We've been busy now for half an hour. I've not looked at any of the comments. This is a very serious topic to me. And I really want to thank the more than 600 people that are watching now. Because if the only thing I can get you to do tonight is to not be that cock on that dung heap crowing louder than the next person, that'll be really awesome. Look at your own life. Empower yourself. Do everything you can yourself. And ask other people for information. There's nothing wrong with that. But rely on yourself to do it and act. Do it. Once you've done it, then you can become part of a very strong community. But up until that time, you stand no chance. You are a leech. I've been a leech many times in my life, and I'm very harsh on myself. And I'm going to be very blunt and honest with you. A leech is anyone that cannot depend or rely on themselves to do something. And it's very important that you understand this principle of self-reliance. I will never forget the day my father told me that at certain times in history, all the brown suits are going to be sold out of the shops. And it really rings true because it's symbolic of so many people that'll step forward, all these false prophets, that'll step forward, that'll say they're going to save the country. We're going to lead this country into perfection. And then they're going to put cameras everywhere. They make sure that your freedoms are fully under their control. And you have lost out everything. And you have given it willingly. So you need to think about all these people that's going to save you instead of the people and yourself that have the capability and the ability to do the work, to empower yourself, to be fully self-reliant, and especially be independent of government and corporate control. Now, are you willing to go and make that effort? Make that concerted effort to empower yourself. I hear so many people saying to me, but my friends don't want to listen to me. This one doesn't want to listen to me. My family don't want to listen to me. And I ask them, have you done everything in your life that is necessary to make yourself self-reliant and independent? If you have not, stop talking to other people. Stop worrying about them. Because once you have done that, you can set an example to them and they might actually believe in what you are saying. But up until that moment, it's all air. It means nothing. It's all air. Now, granted, all of us can do things to varying degrees. Not all of us have the same physical capabilities. Not all of us have the same opportunity. But the same principle applies everywhere. That you do for yourself everything that you can right then and there before you worry about the next person. And in most WhatsApp groups, in most Telegram chat groups, what you get is a bunch of people that haven't sorted themselves out, chatting about all sorts of things. But one thing that gave me hope is in this Telegram group I created, those stalwarts that have already taken action, that have already done things, that can now share with other people. And it is so heartwarming. And I want to thank all of you that have made that effort, that have done the hard work. And I'm so fortunate to know so many of you, because when this journey started, I maybe knew one or two. Now, at least, I know more than 20 people that have done this. So from 1 to 2 to 20 is 10 times more. But it's not hundreds and it's not thousands. But thank you for sharing what you have done, because you've already taken the action. You understand what this is about. And I want to thank you for being that example. And if I can get the Double O Days discussion Telegram group down to the people that want to learn, the people that want to understand what's going on, that's not interested in sharing nonsense, that is interested in talking to others that have already walked the road, that don't want to subvert, that understand what we are facing, I will be the happiest man in the world, because I would have been able to create one social media platform where people can talk to each other without subversion, where there's no debate, because we don't have time to debate. If you don't understand the threat, then learn. This is why this YouTube channel is there. You can go to the videos. You don't have to go here. You can go wherever you want. Go and watch the Moments in Time and Question Everything series and understand what this channel is about. Understand why what we are facing is as serious as it is. Why we are facing extinction worldwide, and why my father's plan to arrest an entire committee of 300, a council of 13 families, to literally interrogate them and release all of their plans to the worldwide media was never executed, but he was. So when you hear in future of any nincompoop idiot that's telling you to go and risk your life in any kind of militia form, show them the door, because they don't have your best interest at heart. If that person cannot show you that they are self-reliant, that they have become self-reliant, and that they can lead the pack, ignore them. Ignore them. Because they cannot lead anything. They can but make a video on Facebook or TikTok or YouTube or whatever. That is all they are able to do, and nothing more than that. I will take some questions now. Ilka says, scary. They're trying to break down societies, how fragile they've always been. Just remember, our enemy is extremely fragile because they're depending on us to behave the way we have been. So the moment we change our behavior, the entire plan falls flat. We can literally withdraw from their system. And this is one thing my father understood. The one day when some of the Boeramag leaders came to visit him and wanted help from him to help them with their stupid plans, the first thing he said to them is, your way of doing this is wrong. He said, if you go and execute what you're talking to me about now, you're all going to end up in jail and your families are going to be without fathers and grandfathers for the rest of their lives. My father told him this. The next thing he said to them is, you need to have an economic takeover. He understood the problem. What does that mean? And this is the one plan that he was right about. He just never had time to execute it. He understood that after everything that happened, that an economic takeover is what's required. How do you take over the economy? You withdraw from it. You create a parallel economy. You don't need anything for it except a change in behavior. And that is what people need to do. And what that's going to look like in future, I don't know. Every community can make that look like they want. I'm not going to dictate to people. I'm not a leader. I have my perspective and understanding, and I will give you my perspective in how you can circumnavigate this global attack on your freedom. An economic takeover is a must. And the only way we do that is to withdraw from the Rothschild financial system. There is no other way. There is no other way. Now, the degree of withdrawal that you can do might vary. Some people might be able to withdraw by paying off some of their debts. Some of the people might be able to withdraw by not buying at a shop that takes tax from you. If you buy at a spaza shop or in your local informal settlement, you're going to give money directly to a family as long as fiat currency can still be used as a form of exchange. With those people, you can bless their lives. There's no tax being paid. You're not feeding the monster. So if you change your lifestyle, you can empower not only yourself, but other people's lives. And this is vital that you do it yourself first. You need to start living that life on your own. When I chose the venue for KwaZulu-Natal, I knew that we were going to a place where a husband and wife decided to put a very lucrative life behind, buy a farm, and develop a self-sustainable lifestyle, where they're still questioning everything that's happening all the time, and they're questioning their ability to be self-sustainable. Yet they made a choice, they acted on it, and they have actively implemented it. And I really want to congratulate them for making that effort and being an example to everyone that attended the event in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, to all of us, this is going to look different. How we become self-reliant is going to be vastly different. It's not going to be the same for everyone. It's going to be different. And that is fine. You don't have to look the same as anyone else. I'm saying that you need to take the steps yourself first. You don't need a WhatsApp group, a Telegram group, or anything like that to do that. Become self-reliant. You know, for you to have 3 months water storage and food storage, all you need is the internet. There's endless amounts of ideas on the internet on how to do that. And you don't need to go to a prep group. I mean, this is very straightforward. So, people, I really want to thank you for coming onto this live stream. We've been going now for 45 minutes. And I want to thank those people that have that light bulb go on, that realize that what I've been doing is an utter waste of my time. I've not been doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing and what I know I should be doing. I wasn't doing that. I was just entertaining myself, because this is what most people like to do, is entertain themselves. People, the 5 things you need for survival doesn't start with something to keep you sane. It starts with water, food, shelter, energy, and then something to keep you sane. In that order. If you focus on the last one, you will never get the first lot. You will not get it. You can forget it. You are going to focus on everything else. You are not going to get water and food and shelter and energy sorted if all you're focusing on is your sanity, because that's the most selfish part. That's the most selfish part. I know this live stream has been very harsh, and I meant it to be harsh. It's not supposed to be easy, and it's a reflection for me too on my life and the things I've allowed to happen. I will not allow in my name or in any platform that I create for people to be subverted and messed around with distractions and nonsense that is not relevant to you becoming self-reliant and saving yourself. I will not allow it. I will rather shut an entire platform down than continue like that. I can just look after my family if I have to. I don't have to share any information with anyone. There's nothing forcing me to do that. I've chosen to do that. And this platform that I've created that almost has 36,000 subscribers now is a platform that you have built with me. It's a team effort. It's been a huge team effort. And I have had many people leave this channel. Many. And many more will leave this channel. Call it tough love. Call it whatever you want. I am not here to tell you what you want to hear. There's many people out there telling you what you want to hear. Many. So I certainly am not going to do that. The one thing I can tell you is that I didn't expect at this stage of the fight for there to be anyone that would have done what I asked initially. The fact that there are already more than 10 or 20 families that have done this is incredible. Incredible. Because those examples will just start to escalate throughout the country. And that is how the critical mass starts to build. That critical mass of people that are willing to do what it takes to change their own lives first, and then find the others that have done the same. Anyone else will put hooks in your back and drag you back. And in that moment, you can very easily feel sorry for someone that doesn't care about the fact that they were not willing to, when they were asked, to put in that effort, and they will suck you dry. If that person has put the effort in, you will work together. If they've not, they will thwart all your efforts. Make no mistake. I will take some questions now. Thank you so much for watching. Over 650 people watching now. Please like this video and share. Remember, this is open to everyone to watch. Share this video with your friends and family. I know it's not an easy video to watch. It's not easy for me to say these things. My father was absolutely distraught that he couldn't trust the people of this country. But there's so many people now that we have found that have proven him wrong. And I am proud to say that I know all of you. And it's a privilege to know you. And I really want to thank you for being that example. We need those examples. We need those examples. And I want to thank you for your efforts. Lana asks, when you say shelter, what do you mean exactly? Lana, what is a shelter? That's exactly what I mean. It is not your home. What is a shelter? Can anyone answer Lana quickly? What is a shelter? Okay, I have tent, I have covering, I have tent, place of safety. Okay, that comes closer. Something to keep you dry and warm. Okay, that is true. Protect from danger, that's close. Protection from the elements. Thanks, T-Man. Okay, so protection from the elements. Anything that protects you from the elements is shelter. So shelter can literally be a tree. It also should be able to keep you warm and dry under certain circumstances. But if it's not raining, for instance, you can lie under sand, and that can be a shelter for you. It can literally keep the physical sun rays off you. You can lie under leaves, cardboard. It can be anything that will shelter you from the elements to keep you alive. Remember, this is about sustaining life. Okay, it can be a space blanket. I mean, one can go into a whole lot of detail with regards to that. So a shelter is anything to shelter you from the elements. Okay. Any other, yeah, shelter for your body first and protection from the elements. Absolutely, Jonathan. Any other questions? There we go, Terrence. Something to keep you safe from the elements. That's a shelter. Okay. And then Saturday, we will be in Mulder's Drift. I will be in Mulder's Drift, and all of us that are up in Gauteng, those that are coming to the event, we will be gathered together in Mulder's Drift. And I hope to see a lot of people there. We were only about 50 to 60 people in KwaZulu-Natal, and the venue was in the Midlands. The people had to travel far, and that's a very good filtering process. Mulder's Drift is also a distance from many places. So I hope people will make the effort to travel there and come and meet together. At the last Double O Days meeting there, we had 200 people attend that meeting. And for this Freedom SA event, you can come and camp there. There is a cost involved. It's 180 Rand for the tent and 30 Rand per person to camp, or you can just come and enjoy the time with us there. There's no cost on entry to be there and just spend time together. And it's important that we spend time together. And this is something my father understood. He even organized a camp once for himself and the 6 people in his council. And he really believed that all of them understood what he was trying to do. And later found out that they were just speaking with him, that they didn't understand at all. At all. So understanding something is shown through your actions, not through what you say. It's done through your actions. Another thing I want to really ask you to do at the end of this live stream is to try and get rid of any addictions in your life. If you have any addictions in your life, you will be prone to fall for so many things that the enemy to freedom will throw at you, because you'll be geared towards it. Your mind will be geared towards it. And I include adagazole. Okay. So anything that you need outside of normal food that you eat and drink, that doesn't intoxicate you or make you feel different or anything like that. And I mean normal medications and all the rest. A lot of people use medication and they get addicted to it beyond the prescription of the doctors. Anything that you are addicted to, work on that, because that does not help you to be self-reliant at all. It's something else that controls your behavior. And if your behavior can be controlled, you'll be prone to be controlled by all sorts of things, fall for all sorts of things. If you have the discipline not to be taken up by things that cause your mind to think differently or your body to feel differently, if you can overcome that, then you will see through many things that come your way. You will have the discipline to do that. Okay. Unga says, don't keep funds in the bank. It might get difficult to access soon. Unga is right. You should always keep a certain amount of fiat currency with you. Remember, that can also become nothing overnight. So a lot of people have said before, what do you invest in? And the first thing I say in the 5 things you need for survival, I always go back to that. Any other investment to me is a waste of time. So yes, invest in those things. There we go, Sean. Protection from the elements. Absolutely. Bloody cigarette, Lana says. We need to learn medical plant medicine. Hi, Debbie. Yes, natural is the way to go. Just remember, one thing that Adam Weishaupt made clear in his plans for the Bavarian Illuminati is that addictions would be used to control people's behavior. And this is one thing my father had a problem with. He never drank alcohol, he never smoked cigarettes or anything like that. And the people in his council, a lot of them fell for many of those things. And he realized that if you don't have the discipline to overcome those things, it's difficult. It's difficult not to fall into many other traps. So it's just a tip that I'm giving you. Try to overcome anything that controls your life. Okay? Because believe me, these globalist elites did not create these things, drive the marketing of them for your own good. It was for their profiteering and to find ways to control your behavior. Life is hard enough when you are not intoxicated. Exactly. Sean has a question. Let me just see. Life insurance. What? Why would you want to give those people things like that? It's your choice. I'm not going to tell people what to do. I have none of that. If you have to live in a society where you worry about things like that, there's something wrong. So you need to build a society. All of those things are built on fear. How is it different to the pandemic? How? Please tell me how life insurance is different to the pandemic. You have fallen for similar things many times over a long time ago. I sold all of my nonsense in my early 30s already when I realized it's a lot of twat. Invest in 5 things you need instead of paying insurance premiums, all fear-based to enrich them. Absolutely, Marlene. And I'm not telling people what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. You can absolutely decide what you want to do in your life. But why feed these organizations? I've stopped doing it a long time ago. T-Man says you're right about pandemic versus life insurance. The same thing. Yeah, build your own life insurance. Debbie, that is such good advice. So listen to Debbie else. She says build your own life insurance. What does that mean? You do things in communities where you're working together with other people, where they will protect your life, where they will help you if there's injury or whatever. That is a proper life insurance. Okay. Hetty, a car is a liability. So a liability will come with insurance. It's up to you. I mean, it's a huge risk to take because you are traveling in the car all the time, etc. But you must decide. You don't need car insurance if you're not paying off on that car. It's your choice, and you don't have to do it. We should ask ourselves, why should we drive everywhere in cars if our communities are set up differently? Um, there's so many things we can do differently if we want to. But if you want the choice to drive a car, you should absolutely be able to do that. And if you want car insurance because someone else might prang into you, and it's absolutely possible, that's up to you. The Promethean says critical thinking requires one to discern about what works and what does not. It's such a simple statement, the Promethean. Thank you so much. What works and what does not. And I want to add for you, because it has to be about you. Each and every person's circumstances are unique. Someone might be living in a flat. They might not have a place where they can grow a lot of veggies. Well, start using your balcony if you have one, or use space within your house and use light. There's many things you can do. Windowsills. I can carry on and on. And there's quite a lot that you can grow in that. But do something. Do something. And once you've made that effort, like I said before, then you can hook up with other people that have done the same. Because if they're not willing to, or if they're not doing the same, they will suck you dry. Mandla, absolutely. That discussion group is a double Odes discussion group. So I asked that Omi is not mentioned in there at all. And I told Justin that any reference to anything else needs to be removed. It's a double Odes discussion group. Okay, there is an own Telegram group. People are free to go and join there, and please do. Okay, we've gone just over an hour. Do you want to tell me about the UAP in KwaZulu-Natal? Okay, we passed the main crux of the discussion. So we saw an unidentified aerial phenomenon. There was a straight line that started forming in the sky. So it started as a dot and then started to lengthen in a straight line, and it was moving. The solid white line was moving, went behind a cloud. When it came out on the other side of the cloud, it was a whole lot of dots, split apart, as wide as a dot itself, and then continued traveling in a straight line. And it was high. It must have been an incredible speed. And from the side, it looked like a massive spaceship, except for the one problem that it started off as a solid line that increased in length, appeared out of nowhere, and then continued past the cloud, and then was separated into these little dots, and then continued on. And I thought I saw it scatter once it went into thick cloud further down, that some of the dots actually scattered up and down. But it was such a fleeting moment, you always doubt what you see. So that's what we saw. It was an incredible thing to see, and not normal at all, not slightly. And luckily, there were many of us that saw it. No, it's not a hologram. That was high up in the sky. It was above the lower clouds and into the upper clouds, okay, which is very high. And I don't want to. No, it's not chemtrails, people, please. Most of what people call chemtrails are just normal contrails behind planes, and I don't want to get distracted. That is a subversion of the topic of what we are trying to discuss here. So, the main topic of this video is the fact that there was a plan. My father started a long time ago, invested a lot of time and effort in. He had a special travel bag just to go and implement this plan. And he wanted to go to Germany to do that because he believed the people in Germany could execute this plan with all the other agents around the world. He didn't trust South Africans to do it because of what he experienced here at that time in the late 80s and early 90s. So he only trusted the Germans to actually execute this plan. And I actually found that fascinating. And yeah, his plan was flawed. And he acknowledged that. He acknowledged that it was flawed, that it was wrong, that you could never execute a plan like that. In fact, like I said, he was rather executed. And so anyone trying to follow any of these fools, that's so easy to make a video to get you to do things that's going to land you up in jail or in trouble. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. So thank you very much for coming onto this live stream. I'm going to end off now. Hi, Stella View. Yeah, we all saw it. Stella View was standing with me as well as the Promethean. It was really awesome to spend time with him. And the people in the lower camp also saw this clearly. Yeah. Ungus, I cannot comment on that. I don't think there's going to be any war. Uh, you don't need aliens for us to destroy ourselves, okay? Let me rather answer that way. Yes, Karen, anything that keeps you dry and warm, shelter you from the elements. Yeah, Ruth, my throat needs to recover for sure. Marlene says, I'm so grateful for your father's teachings because now we benefit from that knowledge. Now the liability is on us to implement. Absolutely. You know, it's really It's really important to learn from other people's mistakes. He was man enough to admit it. He was very reflective in his later years, thought a lot about where he could have gone wrong. And, these people turning against what they were trying to do at the time and literally stopping everything dead in its tracks has had a huge influence on how I do things. Because I'm not going to allow that same mistake I will not make. And who knows, I might make other mistakes. But up until now, the enemy will try everything they can. They will send people distractions that they don't control, but that they know will distract. They will do anything possible, and it'll always be wolves in sheep's clothing. What does it mean? It looks like a sheep. Don't forget that part. Don't think of the wolf. It looks like a sheep, a gorgeous little lamb that you just want to stroke. Okay. And then you'll see how you end up in the end. And this I can literally relate over and over and over to you. So you need to think in your own life and in your own actions how you are subversive, not only to yourself, but to other people all the time. Chesney, what do you mean great expectations, or what do we expect? Remember, this is not a Double O Days members live stream. This is open to the public. So I want to end the stream very soon. It's very important, as I finish off, that you understand that many people will be false prophets. It was spoken of throughout the ages that in these last days, false prophets will come to the fore, promise you everything, say all sorts of things to you, and they will not get you to make yourself self-reliant or independent or being able to look after yourself. They want you to depend on them. They need that power from you. They want to have power over you. It's in human nature. It's in human nature to want power over someone else. Fortunately, in my life, I've achieved so much by the age of 30 that there's nothing more that I've never wanted to aspire to achieving anything except maybe catch a big fish. That to me is an achievement and fun. So, and I do catch and release. So the main thing I want you to take away is that it's about you. It's not about me. If you think I'm going to come and save you, making a big mistake, don't rely on me. Don't trust me to come and save you. It's not going to happen. I can't physically do it. If I had to say that, I'm going to lie to you. Stop depending on me. Don't follow me. Do not follow me. Okay. All I want you to do is listen to the information I give you and use it in your own life. Discard it, use it, do with it what you want. I'm giving you my perspective. That's all I'm doing. I'm doing everything in my power to make you see that when someone else does not behave this way, they do not have your best interest at heart. When they promise you things, when they say that the Constitution will protect you, read the Constitution. Understand the Constitution. Don't listen to me. Go and read it. Read the Bill of Rights so that you can see that they are lying to you. So that you can understand. Don't rely on me. Rely on yourself, please. So thank you very much for watching. We still have 600 people watching now. Thank you for all coming on. Please share this video. This message is really important. The fact that my father had these high hopes to create a separate area. Now, that wasn't succession. He was literally going to go and just demarcate, put up a military infrastructure and not allow anyone to enter, because he thought that's the only way that you would be able to keep these New World Order forces at bay, and especially the United Nations. Uh, he was wrong. He was wrong, because it wouldn't even come to the proper stage of implementation. It was always going to be pie in the sky. That is why I said that Urania will be a failure. That is why it was a failure. And a lot of people will say, no, but it's a beautiful little town. If you see what was supposed to happen there, it is not only a failure, it's a dismal failure based on what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a city by now, a city. So, people, subversion is everywhere. I see it everywhere, every day. Subversion that is not deliberate is the worst kind, because the people that are subverting do not even realize that they are doing it. So they will continue. It can't even be on their conscience. It is the most dangerous form of subversion. Deliberate subversion is much easier to deal with. So, how many people are subverting what we are doing with their comments, with their thoughts, with their links, and so many other things? And they don't even realize it. Because if it doesn't do the one thing to help others to become self reliant or independent and being able to protect themselves, you're subverting them. Anything else is a waste of their time. Thank you very much for watching this live stream. Yes, I need some good rest. Thanks all for joining me. I will be with you again on Wednesday evening, and I will announce what time that will be. I'll do another live stream, and there's a lot that I want to discuss. Everything that I discussed with regards to Eskom, water supply is starting to just hit us in the face. I've said that water infrastructure will not be looked after in this country. And if you see what is happening around Joburg at the moment, I feel sorry for the people, because this will just happen more and more often. A lot of the concrete lines that supply the water to your area, they are deep underground. It's a massive job to dig them up. Most of those things are leaking like a sieve. I can carry on and on. The water infrastructure is not something that you can just rely on. You are lucky if you can trust your water infrastructure. But I can tell you one thing, it's not being looked after. Those pipes are deep underground. They are only maintained when they break. Listen to what I'm saying. They are only being maintained when they break. So, yeah. Yeah, Johan. I wouldn't even mention Urania if my father wasn't involved with that entire setup and how disappointed he was. He said no academic will ever be able to make a success of something like that. And he understood how the learning institutions will subvert everyone's thought. And the people that think they are learned will fall flat on their back. Well, he also fall flat on his back and he's dead today. There's many things he could have done differently. Dr. Zain Hendrik says, a man who believes in freedom will do anything under the sun to acquire, preserve his freedom. Absolutely. Run until failure. Okay, Dennis, it means that you literally run the system until something breaks and then you repair it. In other words, you don't do proactive work to actually fix up pipes. Pick up the fertility rate. Yeah, it is a pity what happened to my dad. It really is. I mean, 2 weeks before he died, I had my last phone call with him. And he knew that if someone visited him and he's dead, that person killed him. And that's what he said to me. Remember, yes, Heine says something very important. Heine Barnett says most people are pawns in the game. All people are pawns in the game, including myself. And the degree to which because we're in the system, I'm in the system. No one is fully out of the system, okay? Because the land that we live on still belongs to the Queen. So we are all pawns in this game, all of us, to varying degrees. The problem is when you actually actively do things to subvert a good end result. And masses of people, many people that even I know, are doing things that is not helping the end result. They are doing things that are actively stopping the end result. Most of them in WhatsApp chat groups and Telegram chat groups. That is the end of any project. If that is important to you, if that is where you go to get your sanity, you've already lost the plot and lost the game. So my last advice is WhatsApp chat groups. If you use that to discuss, to meet with people, or if you use that to share information with regards to self-reliance, that is awesome. I can see no other reason to use groups like that. Any other reason is subversive, and you're wasting your time and energy. Olaf says, het meeste van die goed, as most of the items, groentes sukkel net om te groei in die woestyn. Ja, vegetables will battle to grow in the desert. We'll make it work. Just keep on trying, Olaf. A lot of people have decided to move to a place where they can make it work. So those are all decisions that we have to make, people. Yeah, CC says repair and maintenance is two separate things with regards to water or infrastructure. Absolutely. It's important that people understand the difference. Repairing something is when you allow it to run to maintenance. In other words, it breaks down first. And then it's unexpected, and now you have to find where the problem is and sort it out. Thanks, Maltonia. You must all have a great evening. Thanks for listening. I will, Isaiah, I will look at the emails. I haven't looked at the emails today. Yeah. Hi, Suzette, you just came on now. So those of you that have come on later, we're on 555 people watching now. Please go and watch the beginning of this video, and please share with friends and family. Okay. So thank you very much for coming on. I'm going to say goodbye now. Yes, I will say give my love to Lauren. Just remember, this is a Double O Days channel. Okay. There's a place for everything. And what you should do is, if you want to do anything own related, is go to the own groups and have those discussions there. Please. It's not rocket science. Let's do it that way. So have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.